Hello, everybody. Welcome to another daily dose of gaming news and all that good stuff. And as always, I also publish on Rumble and on Patreon for extra support. Any kind of news or anything like that, I usually go about on Twitter X. And yeah, I got Planet of Lana completed. Probably next week, I will be launching the new gaming series, which is going to be Jussan. I just need to wrap up that series in terms of recording so I can have everything ready to go and start probably trying to record another game. Got a huge backlog of games that I want to play and record. But yeah, I'm a little bit busy still on my work there. But yeah, other than that, complete gameplay series, 4K the recent ones, 1080p the older ones. So let's go to the news. Got a rumor. I think this is can be considered more rumor than anything else. Supposedly, AMD is preparing a RX 97 GRE. Again, this comes. I don't know why, but the only thing that lends me to believe this rumor of the 97 GRE is the fact that in terms of stocks in Chinese market, again, this usually it's more Eastern kind of GPU for Eastern markets. It's the fact that the 9070 non-XT inventory in those markets, especially in China, is not that good. I think it's out of stock in a lot of places. The XT has been selling pretty well, and I think they have a pretty good stock on this. Again, it's the Navi 48, again, XTX as they call it, so the full-fledged Navi 48 there. So I think they got the pretty good yields to have a lot of stock on this CPU. And again, the 9070 non-XT, it's a cut down version, not that much cut down version, but enough to make a difference there. And I will assume that this 97 GRE is like I don't know, given that supposedly it's the same Navi 48, is going to be a little bit even cut down from the 9070. Maybe it's the yield rates that didn't go, or at least the percentage of yield rates that missed the spot there for the 9070. They're being piling up to create this GRE probably. The rumor is going to have less memory bus and is going to have probably 12 gigabytes of GDDR6. Again, I think they're trying while the 9060 or the Navi 44 GPUs don't launch yet. I think we are not that far from them launching that, but I think it's going to try and be a middle ground to try a little bit to add a little bit value for the performance there. Again, I'm not sure. We have to wait a little bit more information here because I'm not. I think the 96, 9060, yes. I think there are also going to be 12 gigabytes of VRAM, if not mistaken. Probably there's going to be, I don't know, 15% more performance than the 9060 XT, this GRE GPU, costing a little bit more than 10%. I don't know, again, to offer a little bit value on that. Or else you might, if you're thinking about going for the best performance, at least from AMD new GPUs with the 9070 XT, I think it's a better option at MSRP, of course. Other than that, I don't think, if you can wait, I don't think at this moment any kind of new GPUs or to a certain extent even older GPUs are worth buying at this moment. Again, the fact that we don't have a lot of inventory, especially from NVIDIA, ramps up their own prices, and by that, and AMD will always try to creep up as best they can the prices to the competition. And with that said, everything basically all the tide raises all ships, in the sense that all the prices are at this moment in time too high for what they're offering there. But I think it's still a decent value, a pretty decent GPU, the 9070 XT, if you can manage to find it MSRP. There, again, you might want to spend a little bit extra if you really want to go about the overclocking stuff there. They seem to offer pretty good overclocking capabilities, some especially from Sapphire. They usually are the top tier on that on NVIDIA. Oh, sorry, on sorry RDNA GPUs there. But yeah, it's a rumor. Again, probably most likely, if they are really trying to provide the 9070 non XT and they don't have enough stock to fulfill the demand, I think they're just going to launch something like this. I'm not sure if this is going to be from AMD itself, like a reference card, or if it's going to be something that is going to be delivered to AIBs for them to produce and sell. Again, I didn't see anything here on this rumored things here, but yeah, it's what we got so far. And then a follow up also regarding the ASRock motherboards. AMD recommends bio updates on ASRock motherboards. Again, from what I understand, AMD is trying to. I don't think that they are very. Are how do I say it? The They are not demanding um, the motherboard manufacturers to I don't know, comply with the profiles, the default profiles of their own motherboards. Again, I don't know if they are very tighten or on top of that. But it seems that this situation, especially with the 9080 X3D fails, and we saw a couple of reports probably of the 9950 X3D also, one of them stopped working. Then we didn't get a follow up because he did the RMA, so didn't explore more of what happened in that situation. And I think another one blew up or had a bulge. Um, uh, Again, taking the fact that one of the factors that, or some of the factors that we've been seeing this reporting of, especially 9800 X3D fails to boot. Um, I think it's a mix of several things. One of them is they are selling like hotcakes, and when we have a product that it's um, out in the wild on, I don't know, I'm not saying millions, but at least hundreds of thousands of of CPUs out in the wild. When you have mass manufacturing, there's going to be always a small percentage of CPUs that don't work or fail after a while. It's part of the manufacturing world. Again, it's always when you mass produce a product, you always expect. Again, they try to do as less percentage as possible for those products to be dead on arrival, let's say. And the fact that we are on internet world where everybody has the possibility of picking up the cell phone, take a photos, and make a post in the social media, especially on Reddit, and report these kind of situations. That's why we've been having also brought the attention more of these kind of situations with hardware failure. Um, and also the fact that supposedly it seems that ASRock's motherboards, the BIOS or the profiles, the power delivery, or even in this case, supposedly is memory compatibility issues by the fact that they are not booting. Supposedly, again, this is from AMD. But funny enough, this affects mostly ASRock's AM5 motherboards on the 800 chipsets. But still, this recommendation from AMD to a certain degree doesn't make a lot of sense. Um, the quote itself says it's worth noting that failure to post can be caused by a range of factors and does not necessarily indicate a non-functional CPU, which is true. We recommend that users start by updating their BIOS to the latest version available for their specific motherboard model. That's all fine and dandy, but the problem or at least the majority of people that having issues with these CPUs of stop working is the fact that they managed to make it work from a few days, few hours to a few weeks, and then they stop working. I don't think it has to do anything in the sense that usually when you do this is to memory configuration issues or memory support. And even to a certain degree, regarding this, the ASRock's tried to shrug this thing with the CPUs by saying that people should clean or clean the part of the motherboard socket and the CPU before assembling to avoid this kind of situations. Again, I might think that this might be one in a million situation. I don't think people that will start messing around, especially on the motherboard where the pins are, to fuck around with the pins there and just put the greasy fingers on the CPU die here to make it seem that something I don't know, some grease or something like that, or any kind of residue might do some short circuit there. Again, yeah, I think it's like one in a million possibility there. But yeah, interesting to see that. Again, we are not seeing any kind of resolution. As always, when you assemble the PC, I always recommend doing a BIOS update to the most recent one. Do the first post as default, and then start tweaking. For example, if you want to tighten the RAM timings and the frequencies and everything, then you start doing that after you do the first post. And and again, before the first post update or after the first post, sorry, do the update BIOS and then start tweaking around with the BIOS settings. Usually that's my recommendation. But yeah, it's still a little bit weird. Again, I think it's a mix of several situations here, and some cases might be due a certain reason, and other cases to another one. But yeah, basically that's what you got here. Yesterday, again, I don't cover by any sense any kind of Nintendo stuff there, but yesterday was on the rounds on the Switch 2 reveal, and a lot of games coming out. The one that on the news that got my attention was from Software exclusive new game, the DuskBloods. On Nintendo Switch 2, it will come out. I'm not sure if it's on launch, but it's going to come out on Switch, at least Elden Ring with a special version, again with some extra things. I think it's only cosmetic there. But yeah, Dustborn, it's an exclusive game for Nintendo Switch 2, which is interesting by itself. Again, we already knew that Miyazaki already told that the studio, after Elden Ring launch, they managed to increase a little bit more in terms of the development team. They divided themselves throughout several projects. We knew that they were trying around and working on several projects. One of them, of course, is Night Rain. And Miyazaki himself did develop or is the creative director of this game, which is interesting. The trailer itself gave me the vibes of amalgamation of all the games from Soulsborne plus some Bloodborne aesthetic stuff there. And again, I never played Bloodborne, but from what I saw, it seems like I don't know, Victorian age kind of influences there, some steampunk influences also. There was like a couple of frames that reminded me Dark Souls 1 in terms of the architecture and how the layout was of that world. Again, it seems like a little bit amalgamation, and the game itself is a PvPvE, so it's a multiplayer game, which is interesting to see in the sense that um, I think they are doing overall. I think From Software is doing a good thing here. Again, for them to have an exclusive Switch 2 game, they're being for sure paid handsomely for that exclusive. At least we can assume probably a time exclusive. I think if the game sells pretty well on the Switch 2, or if it brings people to buy the console by itself. Again, it's about experimentation. We know that probably the multiplayer side of the games that From Software launches are the weakest part there. And I think with Night Rain, they are just exploring and trying to see what works within their own developer teams to see if they can manage to get around and, I don't know, crack the formula there for multiplayer components for their games there. In the sense that I really do think, for example, Elden Ring, the asynchronous multiplayer, I think it's something interesting there, even though it was not uh, done excellently. But I think the idea itself on a single player game, I think it's something very interesting. But yeah, I think in overall, it's a good idea. It's a shame that it's an exclusive for Switch 2. Usually these games are not for me. I don't like usually the nominal multiplayer game, even if it is PvP VE. I usually don't like that much. I like to play games by myself as much as possible. Again, I do like the fact that, for example, Elden Ring and Dark Souls, we got the invasion stuff and even the asynchronous multiplayer stuff there, but it's something that it's optional. You can opt out of that, so you don't have to deal with that part of the game. I prefer that way. Night Rain, it's something interesting that it's even though it's not for me, it's something that I'm willing to try, given that I like pretty much Elden Ring and got a lot of those Elden Ring and Dark Souls bosses, and might be something interesting. And the fact that if you really want to, you can play it by yourself. So it's one of those things, even though it's balanced for free co-op games. But I think it's good for them to have this kind of, it's not little side project, but they have these side projects that they are working in. Um, uh, Given if it is exclusive or not, again, I'm taking this from software point of view. I think it's a good thing, so they can experiment the most they can, and see what it works for them and not for what we can call the mainline games that they will be launching somewhere in the future. I think it's good in that sense. For us as gamers, it's a shame because you're locked out from a platform which is Switch 2, which is Nintendo. And the fact, again, as a side, I think that the console is a little bit expensive. It seems to be a huge improvement from what I understand. Again, I don't follow Nintendo, but it seems a huge improvement from the first Switch. Got a lot of functionalities from what I understand, and for it to manage to play, for example, games Elden Ring 4K 60, if not mistaken, and a lot of games 4K 60 when docked, of course. It opens up itself to have a more huge library of games and letting players play at a better quality and better frame rates. One of the things that caught my attention also is the fact that they are increasing the price of the games for that platform, even on digital, and you pay extra $10, I think, for the physical edition of those games. But yeah, it's something that I'm not going to buy even for this game. I might follow up on creators that do something like this. But yeah, it's interesting to see, and we will get more detailed information. Again, we only have the trailer and just a kind of very short synopsis of what the game supposed to be, and the fact that it is a PvPV. Miyazaki himself is going to provide further details on April 4th, which is going to be tomorrow, Friday. This is going to be launched on Nintendo's official website with a dedicated article to the game. So because it's, again, you can understand the fact that it's exclusive game for a Switch 2, everything's going to be provided there. But yeah, interesting stuff here regarding this game. And with that said, I do recommend checking Ratatoskr thoughts on this game, at least the information that we got at the moment of the Nintendo Direct. I think he goes to a certain degree, touches certain points that I also touched there. But I think he usually plays Nintendo games and is more aware of the platform itself and how things work there. I think it's a good watch. And I will leave the video on the link of the video on the description. And then lastly, we got here, we seem to be having some insider information or something like that, which seems to be that Sony is reportedly cutting any kind of contracts with several projects that are involved with consultancy firm Sweet Baby Inc. This article is pretty good. It gives a little bit of background of certain things. This comes after how this guy calls Gothic Therapy, the YouTube channel, which has the, oh my god, how he calls Master of TDS. Sorry. He usually provides good insight and also does some good investigation work and trying to check certain things that are not at public's attention, let's say. But yeah, supposedly Sony began canceling contracts, but they are specifically only involving certain controversial narrative firms, especially on Sweet Baby Inc. It's not something that seems to be on random. I think they are precisely just cutting ties with them. And with that said, um, from last year, they again with this Gamergate 2 stuff there that basically they started by basically trying to cancel a Steam group community from Cabrutos of the Sweet Baby Inc. detector. I think that's the Steam group called, and they tried to cancel the guy. Tried to go and close the account on Steam, and going after him in social media, tried to cancel his accounts everywhere. And again, it's just been backfiring. Again, one of the major projects that they've been involved was Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, and Spider-Man 2. Again, they've been boasting since this thing started, and older videos of Kim Belair and other developers that work there, developers, consultants that work there. Um, because they want what they call centering the marginalized voices as a center point of the games there, which is basically homonize, how it says homogenizing the content. Basically, it removes any kind of risk, edge, or authenticity in favor again of blend more actually in the identity checks. That's why what they are failing. And again, a CEO even told a story about starting Sweet Baby Inc. because she was upset that gamers had a choice in their protagonists in titles like Mass Effect 2, citing a desire to have everyone experience her specific choices. That's the main issue overall. Um, I think the root of the problem is basically this, um, that everyone should experience a specific choices, and again removes the what a game should be. For that, you might as well do some movies or some series where you can, um, I don't know, massage the message of or experience from a point of view. It works best in those kind of media. In a game, it doesn't work very well usually. And the fact comes by that she noted that her black female commander Shepard, again, you can customize the protagonist there, first interacted with Jacob Taylor, another black character. She was so moved by the representation she was experienced, but soon realized that it wasn't that everyone else was going to see. She then decided to try and change that. Again, when you think the other people's perceptions or experience when playing the game are invalid and only yours is valid, we got a huge, massive problem here. And it seems that she really did got that brain rot in her head regarding this situation and just plow ahead. I have to give her that she plowed ahead and managed to reach where she is by the sheer will of just the only viewpoint valid for everybody. It's her own point of view regarding life and everything else, which is very interesting to say the least. Again, this is I already covered a little bit here the Gamergate 2, and some of the influences also reached God of War project that supposedly one of the projects. Again, this is from first party PlayStation Studios. Something regarding God of War was canceled there. The source didn't confirm if it was a DLC spin-off or even a full sequel. Again, one of the projects seems to be regarding God of War IP, because they were involved in Ragnarok when they basically doesn't make a lot of sense. God of War Ragnarok in a Nordic mythology of the gods, having a black character as one of the gods, it doesn't make sense. And yeah, they also were involved on Spider-Man 2, which supposedly leaned heavily on social justice causes and identity politics, much of which focus on cultural appropriation, teen sexual preference, and the entire mission where you played as a black deaf girl in a Spider-Man game, which is a little bit baffling there. There were even cringe-inducing lines like Harry Osborn proudly stating that he installed a diverse board to keep us on the right track. Again, usually that doesn't go well, even in real life. And again, the cancellations here, and even Kim Belair in the recent statement. Sorry about my reading skills today. At the GDC that happened a few weeks ago, I think. She boasted that AI should be used for empathy and inclusion, not profit. Again, it's one of those things regarding these persons. They think everything should be free, that you shouldn't make money if it's not with inclusion in mind. Again, I really don't know where the entitlement of thinking that you can change how the world works and the incentives of how the world works in certain sense, because usually you have a company to make money. It's not just to give money away. It's not a charity per se. But yeah, um, we'll have to wait and see how this unfolds. Maybe by the fact that we had this inside information, I think there was a rumblings of certain companies canceling certain projects here with certain consultancy firms here and there. I think some of it is lack of money drying up or funds drying up for that. I don't know if we have those checklists in certain consultancy firms. I think they saw that it's not working, and also, I think he comes for certain comments, especially from BlackRock CEO. He gave, I think, a speech or something like that regarding the year in review or the upcoming year, and he didn't mention anything regarding ESG directives or even DEIs, JEDIs, and all those acronyms. They were not mentioned once. I think they. um I don't know. Maybe they realized this doesn't work. They couldn't change the cultural mindset of people. And it's a good thing. Hopefully, again, as a principle, I'm in favor of consultancy, but again, as everything in the world can be twisted and perversed, like, for example, these consultancy firms as SPI, to a certain extent, I think they work more as, how do I say it? They create a problem and then they say they have the solution for that problem, basically. Which is selling snake oil to a certain extent. But yeah, hopefully we'll get them out of work. I don't think this kind of consultancy does add anything good for the products that they are working on. Got huge example of Assassin's Creed Shadows. The consultants that were involved on delivering, I don't know, historical accuracy, let's say, as they say, and all of those influences that they provide to shape the game as it is didn't go very well. But yeah, this is what I got in terms of news. Let's go for some good stuff. Gaming deals. We got Atomic Heart, 67% off on all editions. We got Batman Arkham Collection. I do recommend this trilogy. Seems pretty good. I played the first two games, and I will eventually play Batman Arkham Knight. Again, if you have a RTX 50 series, don't get surprised if the frame rates are low and very choppy. Again, physics is not supported, or physics 32 bits is not supported on RTX 50 series. But yeah, pretty good deal here. We got also Bioshock the collection. Again, 85% off, free games. The first two are the remastered versions plus Bioshock Infinite with all the DLC associated to all the games there. We got Balatro, 10% off. Again, even at full price, I do recommend this game. I didn't spend too much time playing on a PC. What I've been playing is more on my cell phone. I already uh, acquired everything except for the challenges is the only thing that I need to do there. Other than that, I basically did almost everything, at least collecting the stuff there. The collection is complete. Again, very addicting, and I play it at least one run per day, give or take. So it's a pretty good game there. Then we got Midnight Suns, 85% off. I do recommend this game. I did a gameplay series on this one. If you're not sure if this game is for you, you can check out the first couple of episodes of my gameplay run to have an idea what it is. But it's basically XCOM 2, but instead of abilities, it's cards. So it's a deck builder in that sense. Then you got No Man's Sky, 60% off. They got the latest update, which is called Relics. And then last we got Pacific Drive, 40% off on the base game. It's one of those that I really, really, really want to one of these days play it and see for myself. Because again, it checks a lot of boxes for me on what I like in games. But yeah, this is it. I'm going to wrap up here with plugging my Patreon for access support as usual. The access support is more in line for me to try and get a better storage solution so I can have backups of stuff that I do for my clients and also a little bit more extra space for the videos that I do for the channel. And with all that said, I hope you have a wonderful day. And I'll see you in the next one. So until then, Kunami Master out.